Hello and welcome to another fiery episode of Out of Stand Nation. We got ourselves another fiery week. My god, dude.
So much.
Puns.
This lineup that we got.
The puns.
Yes. Oh man, we got some fire puns ready for you too. So, oh man. So we're gonna kick this off with our first group that we've been waiting for a while. At least for Nick and myself. A fairly new group as they come, right? PinkFantasy with Shadow Play. So Nick, I think you can agree that this song was really unexpected for PinkFantasy.
Yeah, this song was extremely unexpected for PinkFantasy.
Because was their debut? Well, they had two songs that were along the lines of kind of like what Dreamcatcher sound is.
Yep.
With a bit more hip hop in it. And then they had one of their subunits, which was kind of Disney-esque.
Yep.
with their sound.
They have a few subunits now.
Do they?
Yeah,
and actually, yeah, they have I think 3 subunits. And
Wow.
this is their 4th now, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, who do you think they are, Luna?
Right. Yeah, so I believe this is their 4th subunit. I don't know what this subunit is called, but basically it is minus 2 members. One has a sprained ankle, so she can't promote.
Yeah.
And then Daewon is not in this, who is known as the member with the bunny head.
Yeah. The hidden member.
Yep. Daewon can't promote because where they were recording in that like kind of Sahara kind of desert area, it's too hot for Daewon.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I don't blame her because imagine wearing that. Because I've cosplayed before, so imagine wearing that like bunny hat in the Sahara.
Yeah.
No thanks. No thanks. So, all right. So with this song, Nick, wow, it's got a weird Middle Eastern like South Asian vibe. So I call it Southwest Asia, like that's that area. So, where traditionally we call it Middle East, and then kind of spreading more towards like India. It's got a bit of that infusion in there, as well as North Africa, like Egypt. So I mean, where they filmed it, and the visuals especially, because I mean you see some of the Egyptian style eyeliner and whatnot. So that area, that sound is very present in this song. So Nick, take it away.
Yeah.
So like a lot of what Ji-hoon said, it's a lot of Middle Earth influence. So a lot of what goes into that is a lot of chord progression and a lot of scales. There are different types of scales that they use, and even being different types of different amounts of notes in those scales. So normally a scale has in a key has 8 notes, but you can have, depending on like what scale you're using and all of those things, you can have as many as like 15, 20 in a scale. And that's why you hear those minute differences in the way they sing. This is really unexpected for me as well, because PinkFantasy hasn't really done something like this before.
And nor have we really heard this type of sound very often. So there was one boy group who did a song with kind of a Persian, or not Persian, Turkish influence.
Okay.
I forgot. There was another group that also kind of had like a bit of a Middle Eastern feel to it as well, a slight feel to it, but not as present as this song. So it's not used very much.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and a lot of people were really expecting PinkFantasy to go the Latin route.
Because everyone else is doing it especially in the Nugu.
Everyone else
realm,
is doing
right?
it, especially in the Nugu realm, but also they have a lot of Latin fandom.
Okay.
Wow.
They have a lot of the
wouldn't have
Latin and
expected
South American fandom.
Mm-hmm.
And so, especially like if you look at the comments, you can tell, stuff
Right.
like that. So myself as well, I was expecting them to go a very like Latin or South American influenced song, but this is way the other, like this is way outside of that.
Yeah.
One thing I really like is that they committed to it.
Yeah.
And it's really difficult to commit to something so outside of your culture.
Yep.
And do it right as well. So I wonder if they had some Middle Eastern, like people that knew Middle Eastern culture very well, help them.
Or someone from the area on the staff. Yeah, because like they did quite a good job too, of kind of putting it into their appearance as well, like with the images.
Yeah.
That they use, especially with their makeup, the hairstyle, but without it being like a overly, was it a caricature of like Egyptian stereotypes and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, because that's where you kind of draw that line of like, I know it's kind of a hot button word, cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
And I don't think they went that far here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I definitely don't think so. I definitely think they appreciated the culture without appropriating to it.
Right.
And
so,
as we know, in K-pop, appropriation happens a lot.
Right.
It's the borderline of everyone trying to push for more influence inside of their song, and then they push the line too much and they step over that line, and that's where it becomes appropriation.
Right. And a lot of that too isn't done by malice. They're not trying to do anything wrong, but
I definitely really like the song. A lot of the scenes as well in the song.
Yep.
A lot of them did have that Middle Eastern, North Africa influence. But also a lot of them were very just, I guess, relatively average scenes you'd see.
Yeah, it's not like super out of the norm for K-pop.
Yeah.
We have seen these scenes before over the course of the past 2 years, but it didn't feel like it was like played out or anything, because again, I think it's a fairly underused concept, and especially with the song, right? So their rap deliveries really helped the song come alive. Really helped kind of sell the feel of the song.
I definitely agree.
PinkFantasy is not really that known for their rap abilities.
Right. Yeah. They're mostly known as a vocal and dance performance group.
Yeah.
But I think this definitely shows that they have a very good rap side.
Because we did see a bit of that, and I think their debut song, we saw a little bit of that. And I don't know about you, but for myself, I was kind of craving a bit more. Like, hey, show off some more of that.
Yeah.
Of that rap skills you got.
So R.o.S.E, they're doing this very North African, Middle Eastern vibe.
Right.
Obviously, a lot of it's in desert. Desert is hot, duh. But I also I noticed that they use scenes like indoors with a lot of blue. Doesn't blue usually give off a cold kind of vibe?
No. So it's more depending on how it's used. It's can also mean like calm, serene, kind of like just a calming nature. But they used a darker blue, almost as if it was a seductress kind of thing, or even as a contrast to the brighter color, which was I believe it was a goldish yellow reddish color. Where it helps to draw in the imagery a lot better, because it is on the opposite side of the spectrum of the other color, and it really helps emphasize the entire music video. This music video is also not like a high energy song, so I think using that blue really is calming. But it's also not using it as a cooling effect. It's like, because it is the Sahara very much is a hotter
climate.
Yes, that's the word. I'm like, English, come on, work with me here. But no, it was used very well to emphasize everything. But especially the goldish coloring. and it almost reminded me of that one Gfriend song, of the Japanese song, for the setting.
Not Memoria. It was one after Memoria.
We talked about it like
Flower.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh wait, you say we talked about it months ago? Oh shoot, Labyrinth.
No.
Oh wait, Labyrinth was a Korean release.
Yeah, I think it might have been Flowery. I don't remember exactly.
No, Flower was last year, so.
Yeah, it was last year. Months ago last year.
Okay.
I don't know. Somewhere around there. Too much sidetracking. But no, the coloring really played a major effect on this music video. Because if they used any other color than blue, I don't think it would have worked as well. If, like, let's say they used red, like a bright red consistent a lot more than the blue, I think it would have done the color balance, because they definitely used the blue to help balance out the music video's colors. If they used the red, it would have off balanced the feel of the music video. And
I mean, I was thinking more into like G Idol's Lion.
Yeah, because
Lion used a lot of red.
Yeah,
as well.
Because this isn't like a fiery, passionate song, so using red would have thrown off the entire music video. Okay. If that makes sense.
So, man, like with this song, Shadowplay, I would say that it was the biggest surprise of the week for me.
I agree.
I think that was probably the song that we hyped up the most in chat, anyways. So
I think you two hyped it up the most.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because it's just Aura we're talking about. He never hypes up anything. So
Aura doesn't like K-pop.
Yeah.
Eventually someone's gonna actually believe that. Eventually someone might actually believe that and go, "Why is this guy even on this podcast?"
We need the video aspects. That's why.
Yeah. All right. So, PinkFantasy Shadowplay, strong recommendation from myself and Nick. Definitely check it out. Now we're moving on to our next one.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Hwasa is back with another solid solo release. This is off of the same album as Maria.
Yeah.
And its title is LMM, Lost My Mind.
Oh, is that what it was short for?
So, Nick, why don't you help me out here with this song? Is very, I would say very atypical of what Hwasa's released before.
Correct. Yep. And it's even atypical of what Mamamoo releases.
Yeah, I mean we've seen something similar from some of the other solo activities.
Yeah, I feel like this is very similar to some of the solo releases, not the main group releases.
Yeah, but Mamamoo as a group in Hwasa usually don't release this kind of vibe. This is very open orchestral.
Yes.
And it's very basically orchestral pop. So the soundstage is going to be very wide. The dynamic range is going to be very, very wide as well.
Right.
But it's also going to be very slow.
Yeah, it's almost in a soul type of vocalization.
Yeah. Rather than writing a soul route, it more rides a ballad format.
Yeah. I was gonna say ballad, but then also got a bit of soul in there, so I wasn't too sure which direction it went.
Yeah, it would genre wise it would more ride into a ballad than it would into soul. But that being said, ballad and soul also have connections, so there is a lot of that.
Soul is a offshoot of ballad, so.
And so as far as that goes, definitely when this started up, I knew I was gonna love it.
Same.
If you know a lot about me, then you know I used to play cello for a really long time.
Giant violin.
Yeah, okay. But I play cello for like around
Giant
15
violin
years now, and honestly, like it's really nice hearing this like open orchestral, because as you listen to music, you can start to pick out sounds, and you can start to pick out what is real and what's fake, and all of that. But this is just, it's a beautiful balance.
Yeah, because like one of the things that really stood out to me was you kind of have like this grand open feeling, like you said, open feeling through the instrumentation, but through her vocal delivery, you really get to feel like a lot of this solemn loneliness as well.
Yeah,
through her vocal delivery.
Yep. So
so it gives that feeling of like she's out there, or she's in this like she's really alone in this open area. So really empty area.
When you read sheet music for like cello, violin, viola, all of the stringed instruments, and woodwinds as well, when you read sheet music, the composer can actually add an annotation that says "with emotion," and that applies a specific feeling to the instruments. It's a specific technique that we use to play, and that's not present here. They purposely did not want to add emotion onto the instruments. I wanted to have them like play kind of as normal. And the point of that is because if they can have a normal sounding instrumentation, that gives more impact into the vocal delivery.
Yep.
Oh, that the vocal instrument of Hwasa is.
Yeah, and Hwasa's vocals in itself, like when she sings with emotion, she can already inflict a lot of emotion. But when it's a relatively bland background, an instrumentation, it adds a lot more, because that's the only emotion. So she's inflicting 100% of the emotions.
And that takes me to my next talking point, because one of the things I was thinking of when I was listening to the song is less is more, and that is definitely present in the song. Just like you just said, right, from the instrumentation and that lack of emotional delivery in the instrumentation to make room for her vocals to stand out with the emotional delivery. And at times too, they made great use of empty space. So there's times where she stops singing, and the instrumentation is carrying on, the musical company is carrying on, but that really added a lot of impact, because again, it really helps sell that kind of that solemn feeling that she's delivering, even when she's not singing.
Yeah, and I mean, like that less is more also very much applies to all of the instrumentation. In fact, you don't need 3 drum sets in this song. You don't need 2 sets of orchestras. You don't need any of that. You don't need complete and utter perfect mixing and mastering for this song either. So the beautiful thing that an open soundstage and a high dynamic range allows is minimal mixing and mastering.
Yep.
Because honestly, you just need to put the vocalist in front, and pretty much everything else is done for you.
Yep.
And so that is another thing that is beautiful, and that's because the dynamic range and the soundstage put together covers a lot of things.
Right.
We talk about all the time how MVs are perfect. If you take away all the mixing and mastering, you'll find that 99.9% of MVs are not perfect, and they actually have a lot of problems. But mixing and mastering fixes those problems.
Especially when you're talking about songs that are centered around a lot of synth instruments.
Yeah.
The mixing and mastering is what makes or breaks those type of songs.
Yep. But this is just, when you have this type of orchestral pop ballad, it's just there. You don't really need to do anything. It's pretty much all done for you. I mean, you quiet the instruments a little bit, you make the vocalist louder. It's pretty much done.
Right.
It really was an emotional experience. Like for myself, even without the music video, and you guys know how I am. I normally kind of start like blanking out on the music video itself because I'm so immersed into the song.
Right.
I was really immersed into the song, but the music video as well helped provide the imagery of what's going on in the heart. It was very well done. So, Aura, thank you. I know you've got quite a few things to say about the video as well.
Yeah. Well, maybe not. Who knows? Okay, I do. I do. This me.
Well, because if you didn't, I would. I was gonna say a lot about the video as well.
I just keep going.
Okay, so you know how Jihoon was describing, like how the song itself was, you know, expressing the loneliness in a wide open area. You know, this was very much shown throughout this entire music video. How it can be a lonely world out there, especially within your own mind, how everything feels, and it was done so well. You know, she was dressed in all white. Most of the scenes, she was out in an open field or in an area of pure white. You know, but consistently you see arrows just flying at her. Just constantly trying to attack her. It could very much symbolize to all the hateful comments, you know, because Hwasa is known for not drawing a lot of attention, and not exactly the most positive attention either.
She also gets a lot of hate remarks over her appearance.
Exactly.
She's not in the not traditional, but like in the mainstream aspects of Korean beauty standards.
Right.
So, and that actually is a big part of what the song is about, because just like you're saying, right, all the arrows being throughout the whole music video, you see like a lot of arrows being showered at her, but one of them does eventually hit.
Exactly.
So this isn't just for Hwasa, but for idols in general, or public figures in general, right? They get a lot of trolling comments, hate comments. And eventually, at least one of those is going to hit hard.
Well, yeah, but the thing to note as well is that the first arrow that hit her was her own arrow.
Yes, because you are your own. So, like you, a lot of times you are your own enemy. No one's your heart. No one is your harshest critic other than yourself, right?
Exactly.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is that like no one criticizes themselves. Like no one criticizes each other harder than you can criticize yourself. And that's because you see all the flaws every day. You know, you see everything.
And then at the end, where, you know, it kind of becomes a domino effect, you know, because, you know, you try to roll with the punches, trying to, because you see in the beginning, middle, she's able to avoid a lot of the hateful comments. You know, sometimes, you know, you'll be in a wide open area with how social media is, how the internet media, how television media. There's so much of an area, you won't be able to read all the hateful comments. You won't be able to see all the negative comments. You know, you'll miss some of them. But
in one of the scenes too, she's in her own home, and there's still arrows making its way inside the house, so like you're not even safe in your own home.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that a lot of that pertains to the connectivity of social media.
But eventually, it will get to you, especially after you've let yourself hit yourself. You know, after you've let yourself get in your own mind. Eventually, the other hateful comments, because in the final scene, where it shows her being shot by all the arrows, she was in front of her own home, you know, or what was supposed to be her own home. If she lived in that house, by the way, that'd be super nice.
Totally jealous,
right? Yeah. But like, it's even in your own sanctuary, like, you can break down and I guess hit the tipping point, you know, because if it was also a scene that it kind of it reminded me of Jet Li's movie Hero, where at the very last scene, it just rained down, you know, and it just accepting their fate, you know, and almost, and to some idols, that tipping point will lead to death. We've seen it before.
We have definitely seen it over the past 4-5 years. Quite a few lives were taken because of that.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't usually say this, but like I had to listen to the song twice because the first time I was so engrossed in the video.
oh wow,
Because like this video, right, is probably like the most well planned out and beautiful video I've ever seen.
It's amazing.
I don't pay attention to the video a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously I'm colorblind, so I've stopped caring and all that. But I mean, I will watch the video, but if it's like okay, I'm obviously not seeing this the same way as somebody else or normal people would, then I just don't pay attention. But like I went back and listened to the song, and then everything made sense and everything was put together, and wow, just wow.
Yeah, and that was like one of the earlier videos I watched this week too, and it really set a high bar for this week for me.
Yeah, same.
So
it's so good. It is so good.
It is really good.
So if you have not guessed it by now, this is another song that gets a very strong recommendation from us. Actually, all the songs we talked about in this episode are all strong recommendations. It was a very hard battle with choosing what to talk about, as always. So Nick, you want to take us into our next piece?
Yes, I do. So this is my second favorite group of all time. This is Dreamcatcher with their song Rose Blue. This is this is not a comeback. This is a song for a game. This is an OST for a game.
Now that makes sense. Now that makes sense.
This is okay. So this is an OST for a game, and so that game I believe is called Girl Cafe Gun, and yeah.
Okay, so what I was getting at with that was as I was listening to the song, I got a very like 90s, or not the 90s, like early 2000s, like it felt because it definitely felt like an OST song for sure.
Yeah,
and it reminded me of like if you were to watch a TV show or a movie from like the early 2000s, right? Japanese movie, Japanese TV show. It would definitely feel like a song that you would hear in those type of shows or movies.
Yep.
Right.
So yeah, this is that. I remember I told Aura that, and I was basically watched his reaction live, and he was just so shook that it was not a comeback.
Well, so okay. When you said that, this is before you even told me that this was a OST for a game, because in my head I was like, this kind of reminds me of a JRPG, almost like Final Fantasy or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's because like so with OSTs, especially for games, and yeah, like games and certain types of movies as well, they do use a lot of that kind of certain type of soundstage and with the mixing and whatnot to give it that kind of grand epic feel or a heroic feel or
exactly.
They're kind of overt, right, with the way they deliver the specific kind of emotion that you're supposed to be experiencing at that point in time. So yeah, that that's not to say that there's anything wrong with that. I actually like soundtrack music a lot. I have a lot of it myself, so James Horner is like one of my favorite all-time composers for that, just because he does a lot of that epic, heroic, grand adventure type of music for movies. And for this, I liked it. It was, I guess, because of how soundtracks songs are done, OSTs are done. It automatically immerses me. It pulls me into the world because I'm that type of listener. I want to get immersed into it. I want to get sucked in. I want to experience the emotions that are being conveyed through the song.
Right.
So
yeah, I also really liked how like it's a game OST and whatever, but they really maintain that Dreamcatcher sound, that classic Dreamcatcher sound. Like when I heard this, I was like, yes, this is a Dreamcatcher song. Like even if it is a game OST, it is a Dreamcatcher song. A lot of the times when you see game OSTs done by K-pop groups, they lose their sound because it just doesn't work.
Right.
But I think because Dreamcatcher sound is that so power rock, like hard rock vibe, it works great.
Yep.
Right.
You know, I've actually only met one person, but it lets me know that these type of people exist. I've met one person who all he ever listens to is soundtrack music.
Oh.
Whether it be from games or music or whatever. Like that's all he listens to.
Okay.
Normal music does not appeal to him. And I think part of that is because he's kind of a mix of myself and Aura.
Mm-hmm.
And you as well, because like we're but he's really much more so on the experiential type of listener. He wants to, so
Right.
it's weird, man. Like I've never heard that before until I met that person. So
I've met a few throughout my life, especially people who are very much in the J-pop scene or in the like anime scene.
when I say anime, yeah,
and because you know, I can, if this wasn't an OST for the video game, I can very much see this being an OST for an anime. Because like if you were just to stick this into an anime, I think you could go, oh yeah, no, this is because Nick has talked about this before, how Dreamcatcher does give that anime feel.
I was about to say you could do that with pretty much any
especially
any Dreamcatcher
like,
song.
For example, from their last album, Tension, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tension's like straight up just like an anime theme song.
Yep. I mean, you can say that about pretty much all their albums, their entire discography.
Right.
Well, not Minx, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, so
Minx is
as
a little
Dreamcatcher, as Dreamcatcher.
Yeah.
So, which by the way, if you don't know, Minx is what Dreamcatcher used to be before they rebranded, changed concept, so and added 2 members.
Yep. Definitely really happy with the song. I wasn't really expecting it, honestly, because I honestly did not know it was coming, and then it just kind of dropped, and I was like, okay, I'm for random things like this. Like, I like this.
I can always appreciate a random release I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, especially from like, you know, one of your favorite groups, you know.
I will say that the instrumentation did remind me of another song, at least in the beginning, before it starts like really getting into the whole kind of the soft rock or whatever. It reminded me of AKB's. There's AKB has a song for like 4 members that usually rotates out. Or at least they did. I don't know if they still sing this one, but it's called Blue Rose. So I was like,
gotcha.
I was like, wait a second, this sounds familiar. So I went back, listened to Blue Rose by 4 members, you know. I was like, all right, the beginning instrumentation is very much similar because it uses very soft rock as well, and very obviously very Japanese like, because AKB,
right.
So, but then, you know, they start getting more, for Dreamcatcher, it starts getting more epic as the song goes, you know, as you see the song progression, as you see the music video progress, it becomes more intense, whereas Blue Rose is more of a love song, kind of soft rock kind of song.
Right.
This is more of a like RPG adventure song for Dreamcatcher.
Yep.
But to also take away from that, like a different aspect is that this also, the music video itself also very much matches like the Dreamcatcher music videos, usual Dreamcatcher music videos too, with a dreamy aspect, you know, to match their name. Like each member, as you can see, has been sleeping, I guess would probably be kind of in their own dream world. Some based on desire, some based on like feeling trapped and whatever. And then it's showing all these different aspects for each member, and one member basically journeying to try to free them from their dreams, only to be basically trapped in her own dream. And yeah, that's all I really gotta say.
It really shows the adventure vibe.
Yeah.
You know?
It's definitely a great story.
All right. So, Nick, one of your other favorite groups are on here on this list. So
They are.
why don't you go ahead? Bring
It's
in.
basically Nick week, okay?
It is. All right. Well, this is
It's
one
my
of
week too.
This is one of my other top 3 groups. This is Gfriend with their comeback, Apple.
Yep.
This was released July 13th. It has, at the time of recording, almost 17 million views.
Nice.
Needs more.
Obviously, this was published to big hit labels because it's a big hit.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, with Gfriend's Apple, if you think this sounds kind of familiar, you've definitely heard it.
That's
if you
good,
listen to Sunmi.
That's
Because France.
It's because it does.
Yep. Because France is one of the composers associated with the song, and he has done at least the last 2 or 3 songs from Sunmi. So here in this song we
Okay.
have some of his signature retro 70s 80s feel, and I guess because of the other composers involved as well, it actually kind of updated to sound more like kind of 90s. It's got quite a few genres in there.
Yes.
So you do hear some of that 80s style future funk, as well as what's another one, Nick? Because there was like a few that we were picking up through it. So, but that was, you can definitely hear like France's contribution to the song.
There's definitely some soul influence in here, and a lot of jazz.
Yes.
Which if you know me, you know I'm not really a fan of the Sunmi song or Sunmi kind of vibe. Not really entirely a fan of jazz. That's why it hurts a little bit to say that I'm not really a fan of this song.
Oh wow.
It doesn't really, from the first time I listened to it, and keep in mind I've listened to the song a lot. I still stream Gfriend songs even if I don't like them.
Right.
But from the first time I listened to the song until now, it just doesn't sit right with me. You know, there's those songs where you listen to them, they're like, yeah, it's an okay song, but it just doesn't feel right. You know.
It
And that's
definitely
very
doesn't
much-
feel like Gfriend's usual song.
Well, I mean, because they've already been transitioning from last year to
Right,
outside
but
of the usual sound that we associate with Gfriend.
well,
Yeah, because they went. I mean, Fever. I mean, they ran into Tropical House. And obviously, Apple. They're running into like that kind of 90s, 80s vibe.
Right.
Which it's cool for Gfriend to try new things, and that's
Yeah.
fine. It's just I don't think this is where their vocals sit currently. I don't think it really complements the style of the song. Sunmi does it very well because Sunmi has a very mature, laid-back kind of vocal style. But when you have people like, you know, Yuju, where her voice is really weighted, and how her voice is really high up, it doesn't really sit right with the song, in my opinion.
yeah.
I know for myself a lot of. Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
go. I can keep on talking later. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I guess for myself, the biggest thing for me was the novelty of this type of song within context of Gfriend, right? Within Gfriend's discography. Outside of Gfriend, though, it really kind of felt like, you know, I've heard this before. So, and again, it's coming back to you, Sunmi.
Yeah, we've talked about this with Sunmi before as well, where it just doesn't feel new.
Right.
It doesn't feel like something that's very original. It is original to Gfriend, like you just talked about.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
pertaining to the discography, this is something new and fun and exciting. But unfortunately, just for K-pop in general, it's kind of not really something that like a lot of people are getting into. I've also seen on like in the comments and stuff, people are like, yeah, I love it, and then some people are like, yeah, I'm kind of lukewarm, like, you know.
Right.
And you know, it's just kind of like this the testing phase for Gfriend, and so it's natural that this happens.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure they're gonna experience a lot of different types of songs in these next, like, especially this year, potentially even next year.
Yeah.
And I think A-Pink went through the same thing too when they transitioned to the more mature sound, and now they're rocking it.
Yeah. They're
last
still trying to find at least Gfriend's still trying to find their place,
Yeah, and I mean, I think the company is definitely gonna take this into account, where a lot of fans are like, I don't really vibe with this song. It's not really a style that I see Gfriend doing.
Or they could do what A-Pink did, where they transitioned, not themselves, but they transitioned their fandom, their audience, to the sound.
Right.
Or bring in new fans, because now A-Pink with their mature sound, they're rocking it, and just like we just saw their last music video, how well that did, and how well that charted.
Right.
So I think once we get past the transitionary period, Gfriend will probably be back in the game.
Yeah.
So
I mean, for me,
or what'd you say?
For me, like, I feel like with this purchase from after they've after the company was acquired by Big Hit, there has been a huge transition from how Gfriend's music videos have been. Because I definitely feel, at least from watching this, it's gone more of a cinematic route.
There's definitely a lot more effects, and effects, makeup, and outfits have really gone up.
Right.
Like as far as what we were used to from before.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, or it's definitely different. I feel like, at least for me, I feel like it was less focused on the song, because when I was watching it, I was like, okay, I'm a little bit lukewarm to the song, but the cinematography was amazing. It really was amazing. There were so many allusions to like biblical yeah,
biblical lore.
Yeah, with the whole apple, the burning tree, even like the devil and demons, at the very end, and basically the desire, all the seduction, you can very much see that in how they portray everything, and I think that's so well done. Even like setting up the apples, because that they definitely did not have a fresh apple tree, so they could. I have never seen anyone.
I mean, it's Big Hit,
right?
They could have done it, yeah.
Well, how many times have you seen someone pick an apple that easily off a tree? Okay, I've been hit so many times in the face trying to pick an apple. It's not even funny.
It's when the branch comes down with the apple, and then you're like, oh, it's still not coming up, and it comes.
Yeah,
you let go, and the branch hits you in the face.
Exactly. But no, Unhub freaking pulls the apple so easily. I have not had an apple come off that easily. Okay, I'm a little bit jealous.
Maybe stronger than you.
Maybe. I mean, it hurts a little. Right? Unhub definitely getting stronger. But no, it definitely feels like a more cinematography route, because you see it a lot in some of Big Hit's groups, with TXT and, as we all know, BTS. They have amazing cinematography for their music videos. But again, they're also boy groups too. So I think that this Big Hit is still trying to learn how to work with girl groups, even though I'm forgetting Gfriend's original company's name.
Source.
Yeah, Source. Even though that they have Source, Source has to basically follow Big Hit's rules, and I don't think Big Hit fully has a full comprehension of how to utilize a girl group and their vocals yet for music.
I mean, that's assuming that that Big Hit is really putting in that much kind of company say into Sources Matters, because like,
Right.
I mean, a lot of times, because I remember during the acquisition, a lot of times they do say this, but we don't actually really know what's going on behind the scenes. But Big Hit was said like, yeah, it will allow Source to kind of continue as they are,
Right.
With minimal interference from us.
I think you have to also understand that this acquisition is different than a lot of normal acquisitions, right?
Acquisitions,
Right.
Because it's not like, so like when Big Hit acquired Pledis, for example, that was a company-based interaction.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when Big Hit acquired Source, we already knew it was going to happen because Source and Big Hit are friends. They've been friends for a very long time.
and they even had a project group together too.
Yeah,
So-
and in fact, Big Hit's long been sending female trainees to Source, and Source has been doing the same for male trainees to Big Hit.
Right.
It's just been this friendly thing from the beginning. So saying that like Big Hit has influence in the song is very plausible, because it wouldn't be hard for Bang Sheer to go to Source Music and just be like, hey, like this is all working well, and like I really like this, but here's my input,
Right.
So it's not out of the realm possibility to say that Big Hit has some influence in this. Big Hit is definitely controlling the film work though. That is
I mean,
hands down.
it's I don't know if it's maybe controlling, or maybe Source is like, hey, Big Hit, you guys are really good at cinematography. Why don't you guys,
Right. I mean, again, we
take a bigger
don't.
hand in this?
Yeah, right. I mean, we don't exactly know how much influence exactly. This is all assuming.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say is we don't want to just assume that Big Hit is controlling everything that Source is doing.
They are. It is controlling the film, regardless if Source gives it or not. Big Hit is the one that's doing the filming.
Yeah, but I mean, it's different when it's like Source says, "Hey, Big Hit, take it away," versus Big Hit just coming in and saying, "I don't care what you think. We're going to do this anyways."
So I think how Nick and I have been interpreting controlling is very different from how you're seeing it.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say is we don't want to give the viewers the impression that we're saying that Big Hit is coming in with a heavy hand saying we're controlling everything.
Right. No.
Without Source's input, we're just saying that we don't know what the interaction behind the scenes is like. It could be,
Right.
Source and Big Hit cooperating, or it could be Big Hit coming in with saying you're going to do whatever we say.
Right.
So
I mean,
we're not saying any of that.
It could be very.
We don't want to give that impression.
Yeah. I mean, it could very much be just like, hey, this is some stuff that we did. Goes up to some big hit employee, and then the big hit employee goes, I think you should change this. It could be very much that too. Again, we don't know. This is all speculation.
No, that's just all I was trying to explain to the audience. That's all I was trying to say. So
Yeah.
with the especially with like you were saying, right, Big Hit, we know that they're really good at cinematography, so it could very much have been like, Source was wants them to do it. So anyways, we got really deep into that part, so
Let's go to the next one.
Yeah, so with this next one, Aura, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Me? Really?
Yep. You.
Fine. Oh wait, no, we skipped one.
No.
No?
Okay.
No, we just flipped around the order.
Oh, okay. Because I'm looking at the list and it's before it was. Okay, so as we know, these two love this next singer that we're about to talk about. They will not stop talking about it. Well, stop talking about her. It is Bibi, and with her comeback, "I'm Good at Goodbyes." Now, I will say before we actually get into this, we didn't talk. This was released 2 weeks ago, a week ago.
Just over a week.
Yeah. So, this is
it was
one
last
of
week for to us. 2. So by the time this episode comes out, it'll be 2 weeks ago. But for us, as of recording, it was a week ago.
Right.
Yep.
So this is one of the only songs that we have done almost a week later than we usually do it.
This will be the second time. This is the second time we've done it.
Has it?
But
Okay.
Bibi's the exception. So,
Yep.
I was outvoted.
So this song I'm gonna go as Jihoon. Man, this song hits everything correctly. Like, this song is amazing. By the way, just reminded me, stream the song because she said on her IG that the streaming revenue will be donated to help starving children.
Oh.
So definitely go stream the song. Get it all the views it can. Currently, as of recording, it has 155,000 views. Definitely needs a whole lot more.
Yes. Think of the children.
Yeah, go help them. So, but man, this song is classic BB. Like,
Very
there's
classic
no other
BB.
way to explain it.
And so in this one though, she kind of takes it a bit more into like the jazz type of vocalization as well.
Which is probably a lot of influence from Tiger JK and Mireille.
Yep.
I can definitely see it.
And with kind of an R&B soul musical accompaniment, but very minimalized. So I loved it.
It reminds me a lot of when Binu came out.
Yep.
Because
exactly.
Binu was very much the same way, very minimalized, very just minor like audio as much as you can. And man, this is the sound that I missed.
And this is like what kind of goes back to what we were talking about with like less is more. And in this song, less is more because it's not overly loud. It's the vocal layers is not packed. There's a lot of empty space in there, but the empty space is important, just as important as when she's singing. The musical accompaniment too. Again, very very minimalized in the background. It's there to help keep that momentum going.
Man, it's just everything is so good about this.
You
And
just hear
honestly-
them hyping this up so much.
And honestly, like this, because you remember when Nabi came out,
Bro,
Yeah.
and everyone was like, I really liked Nabi, but what happened to the Binu style?
yeah,
Everyone was like Nabi's really good, but Binu though, and and then what was it? Casino came out, and Casino
man, and she went like full hip hop.
Casino was like, I don't care what you think. This is my sound. My sound is me, and that is my sound.
I mean,
And-
you can talk about the same woman who called a fan on stream ho.
literally on IG Live. And so like this is kind of a throwback to the Venu style, and there is no better time, honestly. If she did it at like when Casino was supposed to come out, I think it would have been too soon. Because this just feels like even though we're back to like basics for BB, it feels like it's so worth it.
Oh yeah.
This entire song, it reminds me of back when we found BB,
Man, we
and
were so
like,
blown away.
we were like, what? Why is she not bigger?
But then she did get big.
And now here she is, getting mad money and making songs with JYP.
Yeah, legendary artist and producer,
Yep,
CEO, JYP.
completely legendary, and backed by Tiger JK and Mireille, and
Yeah,
now JYP.
goodness.
Like, come on, man. There is no way that she did not completely blow up from Binu.
Oh,
So, you're gonna hate me. I'm not as hyped about this song as you guys are. It's
That's
good.
okay. You're just not Naya Sen anymore. It's fine.
This wasn't my song. It was good, but it just wasn't my kind of song. I don't know what. It just didn't captivate me. For me, it's a different. Despite you saying it's similar to Binu, I feel like Binu was able to catch my interest a bit more than this song.
That makes sense though, because you have like almost like a BPM range where you're interested in music, and if it's too fast, then you find that you can't actively listen to it. And if it's too slow, you find that it doesn't keep your interest.
That might be true.
Yeah.
Because this song is actually slower than Binu.
Yeah.
It is.
Quite a bit. So that might be where you find why you can't keep your interest, is that the song is too slow for you. It's too much more like a ballad than it is like Binu.
And anytime we've talked about jazz before, like off camera, off recording, I've noticed that you've only talked about jazz instrumentals. I've never heard of any songs that you brought up where it had a jazz vocalization in it.
Yeah, for me, when it comes to jazz, it's all about the instrumentals. When it comes to using the bass instruments for jazz, I absolutely love them. When it comes to jazz with very minimal like bass, it's harder for me to get into. It's almost how Nick feels about jazz. For me, when it comes to the absence of bass instruments to jazz music, I feel a little bit taken out of.
Yeah, usually when you have brass instruments, it's a lot more livelier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so.
It's funny because actually we're the exact opposite.
Oh, really?
The brass and classic jazz just doesn't interest me.
Oh,
because then I find that those chords that get broken, and then it breaks all music theory, and then it gets boring, and
because of the ad lib ad hoc nature of how they
jazz.
Of jazz, yep.
But
So,
when you're doing a jazz vocalization, vocals usually don't follow the chord progressions anyway, because they're doing more notes, they're doing all of that. So the ad libs fit in better, and I find that I like that a lot more.
Yep.
So it's funny because we're actually the opposite.
I feel like you and I are opposite on a lot of things.
We're very opposite on a lot of things. June's kind of that bridge between.
Yeah.
And for myself too, I guess I feel like a lot more so. I mean, I do see it from Nick too. I'm a lot more experiential. Like I want to get immersed, sucked in. And it's like myself get taken away by the music, right? Turn off the analytical side of my mind, and let the music just
let the music just vibe, dude.
Exactly. I do feel that from you, Nick. Like I know you have said it before, but a lot of times too, you also still engage that analytical side of your brain, and I think that's one of the reasons why I love jazz so much too, is because jazz is nothing but vibe, really. You're supposed to get sucked in and pulled away with their ad libs, with the ad hoc nature of it. Wherever they go with the music, that's where you're going with your heart.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, I can do that with jazz, but a lot of that feels like forced.
Right.
And I shouldn't have to force myself to listen to music.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I
so
think
here with go ahead.
I think that's where a lot of it comes from. That's all I was gonna say.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, because here with her vocalization, it is a total vibe song.
Mm-hmm.
You sit down, I can definitely sit down and listen to it, and not do anything else, but just get immersed into the song. Which is weird because a lot of things that we've said about the song will sound like a lot of our criticisms for other songs.
It will,
right?
Well, yeah, because this song very much feels like it's a passive listening song, and at least for me,
myself.
For me, this feels like a passive listening song because I can't actively listen to this song.
This is, for me especially, this is definitely a passive listening song. This is a song that I can listen to, but it's a song that I can only listen to if I'm vibing. Like I can't be, so like you guys know, I work construction. Right. I can't be listening to this song at work. It's just not gonna work. I'm gonna be demotivated. It's not gonna be fun. Yeah. But like if I'm trying to go to sleep, I'm gonna be falling asleep to this song for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I can sit down and listen to the song. I find for myself, I'm just getting lost in the experience when I'm just sitting down, not doing anything, not watching anything, close my eyes and sit down and listen to it, or lay down in bed. Yeah, I can definitely do that with listening to the song. So I can actively listen to it and not do anything else, not need to get distracted by anything else.
Right.
So this is definitely my kind of song.
Man.
For me,
so
I think when it comes to the music video though, how did you guys feel about the music video?
It's that's very knobby.
It's very knobby.
It's very knobby. It's very Binu.
It's very Bibi. It's very Bibi.
It's definitely different than Casino though. Whereas Casino, it had a lot of scenes. It was very...
It's more cinematic.
Yeah, it was. This is, like, if you remember, Binu was in the bathtub the entire time. There was one scene.
Yeah.
Very relative low effort.
Yeah, it's reminiscent. Her music videos for Binu and for this song, it's a lot more reminiscent of certain art style.
Yeah.
Kind of modern impressionist art. So you're not supposed to take it as it is what you're seeing on
yeah,
screen.
don't take it at face value.
Right.
You know, there's something there. You're supposed to interpret it.
Yeah.
So,
And there's 1,000 interpretations.
Right.
yeah, you're supposed to pick up on those nuances. So,
Which is why I think it's very interesting, because, like, for me, I listened to this song a couple of times. I wasn't a fan of how they did this music video either. I think they could have actually gone more minimalistic for this song.
these are pretty minimalistic. Like,
For me,
as far as like the scenes.
like, if they did it like almost as a drawing music video with just a line, you know, where if they had a pale white background and a black line just coming in and then kind of either forming her face or creating the music video from that one line, you know, like creating a character, creating something like that, I think could have worked. But then again, that's just me.
I actually really like the video as it is, because it's not anything too noisy, not too much going on.
Yeah.
I think it also, for once, it also really plays into color blindness really well.
Oh yeah.
Because get this, right? You know, like she's wearing that like red dress, right? But and she's lying in all that field of green. I see that all as basically the same color.
Okay.
And so whenever this is basically like just a green or yellow and blue MV for me. And so I think that really plays into that minimalism very well, actually. Truthfully. I think that definitely helps a lot with the minimalism, because you have to understand, like, there's not a lot of color in this for me.
Right.
So I think that definitely plays in, just like there's not a lot of instrumental in this song. It matches very well. I don't know what it's like for you normal folks out there, but
Wait.
for
When was I ever normal?
I didn't reference you. I meant the viewers.
Okay.
The viewers.
Yeah, we're not normal. We already know this.
Thanks.
But for you normal folks out there, I'm sure there's a lot more complex stuff going on, and that's where the interpretations come into effect. You know,
Right.
that Ji-hoon was talking about.
Yeah, because I definitely pick up a lot of kind of art style vibes. So like kind of like a Salvador Dali, Andy Warhol. You know, kind of along those lines. From the way the music video was set up, and I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Gosh, and the aesthetic design of her makeup and her costumes really was probably one of the most original I've seen in a while. So, man, we spent a lot of time talking about Bibi and hyping her up.
Man, that's because Bibi, we always get hyped with Bibi. It doesn't matter if the song is Casino or Nabi, we're always hyped with Bibi.
She's
or
great.
Binu. So many different types of songs.
All right, so Aura, you want to take it away from the next one?
Are we going into it?
Oh yeah, are we going to it?
We're over an hour.
Alright.
Yeah, we're at an hour. I'm like, wait, what?
All right. Well, I'll just quick shot it next. So, we'll go into our MV.
Oh no! I was hoping you were gonna forget it. No. Why'd you have to say it?
All right. So, what I'm gonna do is for myself, song-wise, is down to PinkFantasy, Hwasa, and Bibi. And I'm gonna have to go with, because I think, and I'm probably gonna be wrong with where I'm thinking of Nick is gonna choose. So I think Nick is gonna choose PinkFantasy. So I'm gonna pick Bibi. And then for a music video, the actual video itself, I'm gonna go with Hwasa.
Okay.
So
How about you,
who's
Aura?
next?
So, for music and video, I'm gonna have to choose Hwasa. Her vocals were just amazing. The way everything was set up was absolutely amazing. It was stunningly done. And yeah.
All right.
So for me, for video, easily Hwasa. 100%.
Wow, that's an all kill for us.
Yeah. For video, easily Hwasa. For music, I'm sorry to let Jihoon down. It is a song that we did not talk about this week.
Which one? Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that one. It's gonna be in the quick shots, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's for me, it is definitely Seekhan's In Your Time.
Oh wait.
East
Yeah.
Ends.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%. I knew that the second I heard it, I knew that was going to be my MV of the week for song.
All right. So, on to the quick shots, and I'll just start off with the one that we didn't get to. So, Jungin, a Pink member, as her solo release Away. It's done in a kind of a pop, it is pop light rock style.
Yeah.
Definitely a style that I've been
Is this
wanting.
a solo debut or is this a solo comeback? Do you know?
I don't know. I think they're actually for her it's a solo debut.
Okay.
I think it.
So-
Yeah, I think it's a debut.
Alrighty.
All right. So on to Aura.
So, Guy Young and Day6's Wimpill had a collaboration music video happen on during the same day as our last recording, but it released after our last recording finished, so we didn't get a chance to talk about it. I still don't know how to pronounce the song because it is one, I can't read it. It's in Korean, but it released last week and it's really good.
일어났어?
Yeah. You know, not so.
I have no clue what that means, but
Woke up.
Yep.
okay.
Okay.
Well, one, you guys didn't tell me what the title was, so I'm like,
This is the point of why you have this. You're gonna learn Korean over time. We will make you.
okay, I will say that I have this printed out to try to learn. It's really hard for
15
me.
minutes. Come on, man.
It is. Look, I also have this for Japanese. Okay, I'm still
Yeah,
trying.
but it's so much easier than Japanese.
It is.
though.
It takes you 15 minutes. You can learn it on like a plane ride.
It's so much easier in Japanese. There's 3 different writing systems in Japanese.
That's too much work.
And yeah, and
You sound like
and
my
the kanji
parents
too, man.
now, telling me to learn Chinese too.
Oh god, no, I wouldn't even say that. Like Chinese has got way too much going on with that. I don't even know where to start.
There is such a thing as too much work.
Yeah.
I'd say that as the guy learning Chinese. But anyway.
Even simplified Chinese, man.
So
All right.
I'm gonna get on with it. So Lee released a song called "In Your Time." If you don't know who Lee is, she is one of the brother sister duo of Akmu, and she's very much known for her amazing vocals and her ability to flick between her falsetto and her chest voice very seamlessly. Well, she released a song "In Your Time." It is an OST for the drama "It's Okay to Not Be Okay."
Which is on Netflix.
Weird, almost like I'm watching it.
It's on Netflix too, so anybody who wants to watch
it is on Netflix. Definitely go watch it. If you don't have Netflix, find somebody that has Netflix. Go watch it.
This guy.
It's actually amazing. So definitely make sure you go check that song out as well. It almost has 1 million views on Super Sound Bugs,
Whoa.
which is rare for Super Sound Bugs.
I know.
It's at 857,000 views as of the 18th. So, and it was only released on the 12th. So, definitely make sure you go to check that out. It's amazing.
Also, by the way, if you don't know what Super Soundbugs is, that's another channel on YouTube where you can check out music videos.
Yep.
They go 1-K, but
It's budget
less
1-K.
viewership. Yeah.
Yep. So
Budget 1.
They should rename to that. Next up is another is a group actually that released on Genie, which is also budget 1K. So they released on Genie Music, and that is the group Must Be. With their song Realize. Definitely make sure you go check that out. It doesn't even have 10,000 views yet.
I mean, that's kind of expected with Genie too.
True.
Genie typically caps out at like 33,000 or 60,000 views.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all in itself. That, but it definitely make sure to go check that out. They're under Must M Entertainment. And they actually debuted. What was it, last year?
Okay.
Last
group?
year in January, so they're not a rookie group anymore.
Oh, January. Got it. So they're already past the 1 year mark.
Yep. But definitely make sure to go check that out. It's actually a really, really good song, and it almost made it into our lineup, which is nuts.
But overruled.
I know.
That guy.
How dare he?
Ow! One, throw me on the. Okay, we were picking from 18 songs, and we were trying to get it down to 5 to 6. It was number 7 or 8.
We made it to the second to the last round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just happened to be my turn. Okay, just happened to be my turn.
Oh no, wait! It did make it to the last round. It was a final round pick.
Yep.
For
And
cut.
or I eliminated it.
Yeah.
Right after I talked about it.
Because he talked about it.
Yep, definitely. How dare he?
He did it to spite you.
Yep, he always does.
That guy.
It was either that or Dreamcatcher, though, so. Just to spite me. Alright.
Alright.
Well, you guys think it's about time to wrap up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. Thank you for watching. This is my Destination. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Click that bell icon if you want to see when we upload in the future. Check the description. All the MVs will be posted up there down below. We have a Discord. Make sure you go join that so you can talk with us. We post there pretty frequently and also kind of our crackheads there. We have Twitter. Make sure you go follow that. We also post our videos there, so you'll know when we upload as soon as possible. Thank you to our sponsor who doesn't actually sponsor us, Honey Butter Mixed Nuts. Make sure you buy some of those.
Gilum, by the way.
Gilum Honey Butter.
Gilum's a company.
But you search Honey Butter Mixed Nuts, it's going to come up. Make sure you go get some of those. They are great. You can find them on Amazon, and I'm sure other retailers as well. And that will be all for us for this week. This is Isa signing off. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.